It's been dark way too long in this place. That bright smile long gone been replaced. From ear to ear I see that fear in your face. Tell me when the last time you felt safe, cause there's some evil people in the streets. Evil at your front door, creeping while you sleep. It's time to raise up, show that evil we ain't weak. We don't turn the other cheek, I can show you how to be strong. Come on, follow me. Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up? I know the journey got hard for a minute, but I ain't giving this up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up. We go through bad days, hard times, low pay, high crime, pathways to a life without sunshine. I'm the lifeline. With this life, I'm gonna be the pipeline, shining in the nighttime. Bet on me to swoop down. I'ma go toe to toe. Already know that I'm never gonna back down. Bet on me to stand tall. I take on anything for my crew. Bet I risk it all. Wicked people in the streets. Corruption in the politics and the police. It's time to raise up. Take a stand against the seat. We won't take a back seat. I can show you how to be strong. Come on, follow me. Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up? I know the journey got hard for a minute, but I ain't giving this up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up. Get back up. Get back up. Get back up. If I get knocked down, I'ma get back up. If I get knocked down, I'ma get back up. If I get knocked down, I'ma get back up. I'ma get back up. I'ma get back up. I'ma. Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. Yeah, no more running from that bad guy. Don't worry about it. I'm right here. What's up? I know that journey been hard for you. Okay, I ain't giving up. We ain't giving up. I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up.
Well, hello and happy New Year, everyone. How you doing, David?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Excellent. Happy New Year's to everyone that's online with us today. Welcome to our live stream. Today's segment, we're going to be talking about your New Year's resolution of making sure that you have yourself properly prepared in the event of an emergency, both things you should carry on your person and also things that you should have inside of a go bag inside of your vehicle. But we'll go to that in a minute. David, what is a go bag?
Yeah, so a go bag is a bag packed out with essential items, kept ready for use in an emergency situation.
There you go. So I consider having your pockets filled with essential things, kind of like your mobile go bag, and things that you should just have on your person carrying every day in the event that you need to access or deploy them. So I created a list of things I carry on myself. David did the same thing. I also created a list of my go bag that I have inside of my vehicle, and David did the same thing, but we didn't share our lists or tell each other what's on those lists. So I figured it'd be cool to kind of be online and see what we have that might be different than the other one has. Also, let us know in the comments, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, what's inside your go bag, or do you even have a go bag? Put that in the comments, let us know, and of course, as always, if you have questions, you guys are the co-hosts of the show, so please put the comments in with questions, and we'll be sure to answer them throughout this live segment. So David, why don't I go through my personal carry items for my everyday carry, what I have on me, and then we'll go over to you. So I'll go through my full list, okay? So the first thing I carry is my sidearm, and we got to be careful how much we talk about that because of the overlords of social media not liking us to talk about though, but always have that on me along with 2 additional magazines. I also make sure that I have a knife on me as well, and it's important to carry your knife on the opposite side of your carry side for your firearm. Carry a light source at all times, tourniquet, and of course medical gloves. We talked a little bit about that in our last live segment. So that's what's on my person at all times, placed them strategically in the right areas to be able to access and deploy in a moment's notice. All right, David, your turn.
All right, yeah, so kind of similar. I do carry my sidearm, as well as at least 1 to 2 spare mags. flashlight of some sort. I usually have my weapon light on as well, so I have double light sources. Tourniquet for sure, absolutely, must have, as well as gloves, Swiss pair gloves and such on me.
Excellent. So let us know in the comments, are these items that you guys carry on yourselves every day, or is there something we just mentioned that you don't carry that you're starting to think, you know what, I better find that item and start to carry that. And if you need suggestions, let us know, message us through our social media channels or go into our website, start a chat. We'll be glad to send you some recommended items that we recommend you purchase, because there's obviously things in all different categories price-wise. You can go very high-end, you can go low-end, and all have their pros and cons. And I know David, along with myself, we kind of beat up a lot of stuff over the years and seeing what works and hasn't worked, right? And sometimes you get what you pay for, and sometimes you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money to get something that will work appropriately for the situation as well. So we can definitely help answer any of those questions you might have. All right, so let's move on. David, I'm going to have you go first before I go. And let's talk about the go bag for in the vehicle. Now, there's multiple go bags you can have. There's the go bag inside your vehicle. There's the go bag inside of your home. That would be more of a emergency bag if things really got bad and you need to access that bag. And actually, every family member should have their own go bag in that situation of clothes that are packed and other essential items. We'll go over that in another segment, or if you have questions about those go bags, feel free to put them in the comments as well. But right now, we're going to cover a mobile go bag that you would have inside of your vehicle in the event of emergency. So David, take it away.
All righty. So first off, just your basic medical kit, or I'm sorry, first aid kit, bandages, ointments, Band-Aids, just your basics. I have a flashlight that I run with CR123 batteries. I also keep spare CR123 batteries. I have matches. I have a tourniquet as well, gauze and gloves. I have a solar power charger, CPR mask. I carry a knife, chest seals. I have water pouches, meal bars, survival whistle, emergency blankets, ponchos, iodine, alcohol, peroxide, and water purification tablets.
Nice. All right. Very good. All right. So let's go with mine. So I have Band-Aids, med gloves, gauze, tape, scissors, peroxide, iodine, cat tourniquets, quick clot Israeli bandage, chest seals, SAM splint, emergency blanket, fire starter, flashlight, multi-tool, cordage, a map with the local area, water, and some energy bars as well. So that's also solar powered. They're all over Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive that you could carry inside your vehicle or in that bag. And the other thing that we've kind of been talking about between David, Mike, Scott, and I are about emergency comms. If the power grid goes down and cellular service is no longer working, how are you going to be able to communicate with each other and get vital information back and forth? So, there's a two-way radios, talk-about type radios, the Motorola. But we've used some of those over the years, and the distance on them isn't very good. And if you're trying to communicate with family members that may not have the reach that you want, the next step that probably go a little bit longer with the reach would be a CB radio. Would you agree with that, David?
Yeah, I've got another brand too. I forget the name of it, but it's definitely something that you want to get and invest in now and test it.
Right.
You don't want to test it in an emergency situation, but some of them go miles and miles. Really depends on how many, what the tree line looks like and how they open areas. But there's some pretty good stuff out there. Yeah,
absolutely. And then the next step up would be a ham radio. That's a higher end. You need a license for that. But that communication can reach pretty much worldwide and have a good way to access comms. So things to consider and think about as you're planning out for this new year of things you might want to invest into. And I think a two-way radio, and David, if it's the one I'm thinking about you're referencing, that two-way radio also has ham radio channels on it, correct? And yeah, and you can also digitally type in different frequencies. So that might be something to invest into, so that if things do happen, even if you don't have a ham radio license, you can at least monitor some of those communications and some of those stations and be able to hear some correspondence that is out there that might give some vital information for the situation you're in, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing when it comes to emergency communication and comms is having a plan with your family. So let's say that you are traveling or you're away from home and the power grid, and I'm going to use that example just because it seems to be a big topic of conversation right now. And did you see what happened in New York today on Roosevelt Island in New York, David? There was a couple of explosions and took out the power to the island in New York, and the counterterrorism unit for NYPD is actually investigating that.
That was the vehicle explosion, if I'm correct.
It was a vehicle explosion?
I think so.
Wow, okay. So it was just Roosevelt Island. It didn't expand to the city, but my mind is always thinking, was that a test for something bigger, or what was the actual intent there? But you should have a plan in mind with your family members. If you are away from home, it's simple as being just a few miles down the road at the grocery store, or being miles and miles away traveling on business. What are the plans for your family and what should they do? Because if you don't have that conversation now and you lose communication with your family and you're an hour away and the kids are home, are they going to freak out? Are they going to jump in the car? Are they going to try to drive somewhere? Do you know where that location is? This is all stuff you should kind of plan out ahead of time. And the best thing for them is probably going to be stay in one location, you'll come to them. But there could also be a scenario where maybe they can't stay in the location that they're in and they need to go somewhere else. And if they need to move away from their home or their work or their school, where's that secondary and third location that you're advising them to go to? That's important, again, conversations to have. I always suggest that you have your home base location and what the plans are to get to that location if you're away from it. And then usually something a couple miles away that you could either drive to, or vehicles aren't able to be used, that you can at least walk to if you need to, and kind of map out your route, how you would get there. Because if things are really bad, you may not want to take the main roads. Especially if you can't use vehicles to be able to access that second location. You don't want to make it too far, but you definitely want to make it further away from your home. And then there's a third location, which would be further away, usually triple, if not longer, away from where that secondary location is, to be able to meet up with your family members if something was to happen. So let us know if you guys have a family plan in place. Type it in the comments. Also let us know about your go bag. What's in your go bag? What do you carry? What did you hear us suggest that maybe you're not carrying yet? We'd love to hear them in the comments, so let us know. What other things are you considering right now, David, for 2024, if things were to happen? What are some other prepared things that you might suggest that people do?
Well, I think, you made a good point, especially with having a plan. I think revisiting my plan, things change from year to year, just making sure it's fresh, testing it out, putting it into motion.
Yeah.
Because, just want to be prepared.
And how often do you think that plan should be practiced?
Realistically?
Yeah, realistically.
Realistically, where people could probably, commit to it, I would say quarterly.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Months.
Yeah. And so if we say that you should be on the firing range practicing your firearm tactics monthly, the reality is how many people actually do that? They probably end up doing it quarterly if they're even lucky, maybe every 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Right.
That's
So
the unfortunate part.
if we tell you to do this emergency test with your family and family plans and review them quarterly, realistically, it's probably not going to happen quarterly. It's probably going to be pushed out a little bit. But you should definitely review these plans quarterly. And like David said, things change. Kids get driver's license. They didn't have it before. So now, there's other responsibilities and things that could come along with that if emergency situation arises. And then people move out of the house. People are living in separate locations. People's job locations move around. Maybe this year you're working 15 miles away from the house, and last year you were working 90 miles away from the house. So that might change your plans of how you're going to get there and where you're going to go. And I can't express to you enough the importance of mapping out how you are going to get there, both if you have a vehicle, and two, if you don't have a vehicle and you need to get there, how are you going to make that journey happen to be able to get there? So what do you think, David?
Yeah, I think it all makes sense. And I think the important part too is it starts in the home. You got to have a plan for something that goes wrong in your house. What is everybody going to do?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So put some comments up on here. So John Willard says, great information. Also, carry some cash in a go bag. Yes,
Nice.
yes, yes, because if things aren't working out well, ATMs are not going to be available. Going to your bank and trying to withdraw money is not going to work as well, right?
Way too late at that point.
Yeah. Let's put up another comment here. Let's go with Jeffrey. All right, Jeffrey Kahn says, I carry emergency blankets, quick clot gloves, gauze, and food bars. Need to increase my equipment. Yes, yes, absolutely. It is time to increase that equipment list and make sure you have everything prepared. Something else to consider is a satellite phone. But if you have a satellite phone on your end, does the person that you need to get in touch with on the other side have that same way to be able to communicate, right? Because if cellular service has gone down and you can't communicate with cellular service where you're located, probably whatever you're trying to reach at a separate location is probably not going to have cell service as well. And if the cell services are running off a battery backup, there's going to be very limited how long they're going to stay up, and they're just going to get flooded. If you look at terrorism events and major events that happen, those cell towers, when a major event happens, they just get overloaded and calls aren't going through, you're getting fast busy signals, unable to connect. Even sometimes texts, you might be able to push a text or two through, but they'll start to get jammed up as well and not go through. So you should really have a communication line with others as well of how you're going to get in touch with them. What do you think, David?
Have you had a chance to look into the satellite phones by chance?
You know, I have.
Is it costly?
Yeah, it's a couple $100 investment in the front, and then some of them run $100 to more for a service plan to have on it. I think there's a few that are a little bit less on service plans. Something else that I've looked into recently is Starlink. Because Starlink, it used to be a version where you had to have it in one location. It kind of blocked your window out of where you were able to be with that satellite dish. But they have since opened that up where you can actually put it in your RV. So if you're traveling around the country, you can have Starlink services inside of your RV as you're traveling. But that might be another good investment. I think it's about a $500 upfront cost for the Starlink, and then $100 a month. I know plenty of people up here around Moosehead Lake that have Starlink and they swear by it, and the speeds are just outrageous. But that kind of brings me to, okay, if things do happen and people are overloading the network on Starlink, how might that affect things? But it could be another way of communication, right?
Two-way radios are probably the safest bet, to be honest with you.
Right.
But your distance is your problem.
Oh, the distance is going to be a huge problem. Then if you are looking at a Starlink and you're going to communicate with someone via Starlink, what is the other means of communication on the other side? That would be, how are you going to get that message to them, right? Because you could do Wi-Fi calling over Apple phone, but does the person on the other side that you're trying to communicate with have Starlink? Here's my thought process. Mom and dad are away. They're traveling wherever, 2 hours away from home. Kids are home. You have the Starlink inside of your vehicle or RV that you're traveling with, but the kids don't have it at home. So now you're trying to get a communication back to them some way, shape, or form, but they don't have any internet or power. So it's kind of, you need to have something in place to have that communication. So let's see, John here, John Willard, always with great information. Let's see what he has here. Iridium sat phone, about $600 per year to keep active. Wow, okay. John, do you happen to know the cost of the phone itself, or is there a connection type fee, or is it included with the $600 per year to keep active? That's good to know. Thank you for that, John. If anybody else is online and you have a sat phone, let us know your experience with it, and if you've even used it, if it's, what's your plans if something was to happen? So, so today's session, we're talking about the go bags, things to have in an emergency pack. This conversation can go really in depth if we start talking about luggage and duffel bags you should have packed, and you should. But today's conversation is really going to cover what's on your person, what's on your body, and what's inside of your go bag. And one thing I need to add inside that go bag, which would probably, it's not probably, it is a separate bag for me, is ammunition. Having ammo, a stock of ammo that's traveling with you as well, to be able to access if you need it, because you may not be able to get back home or to a location where your ammunition is. And on that same note, this is very important, ladies and gentlemen, is make sure you're using defensive rounds, not full metal jacket ball rounds that you would use at the range. Now, if things are really bad, you ran out of your defensive rounds, so you're going to ball rounds, we're talking about that. If things haven't gotten to that point yet, you have the opportunity now to make that purchase and get defensive rounds and have those stored away. And the difference between full metal jacket ball rounds or defensive rounds, so David, why don't you take it away? Go ahead, why don't you explain the difference?
Yeah, so just your standard ball round is just for target practice. It's a cheaper round. It's just designed to hit your targets, basically paper, steel. And what it does is when it makes penetration, if you were to shoot somebody, typically it's not going to expand like a defensive round will, which will do a ton of damage. So you really do want to get the defensive rounds stockpile, some of this. Looks like Jamie has some ball and defensive. Yep. So the ball's in his left hand, and then in his right hand, you'll see that conage. And then it's got a hollow center there, and it expands out and does a lot of damage.
Yep. What the
they're
purpose
a little
of
bit more expensive, but you definitely worth investing in.
Yep. And most of the bad guys that are on the street mugging people and doing bad things aren't carrying defensive rounds inside of their weapons. They're carrying ball rounds. And the important part of that is over penetration, knowing what your backdrop is. So if you were to fire this and it was to hit a target, it's probably going to hit that target, go through that target, and go through multiple other objects that are on the back side of that target. So it's important to have a defensive round, because what that's going to do is this hollow point here is going to expand and mushroom out, and that's going to slow the penetration so that hopefully whatever target it's intended to hit, it hits that target and it doesn't penetrate through the other side, or if it does, it just does little penetration on the other side and drops out. There's a lot of statistics on these. You can find FBI statistics that you can search and look at different brands of ammo and look at the penetration through ballistics gel and make a good decision on what to carry. And if you have questions on what to carry, you can put it in the comments. We'll answer that as well, or message us through our social media channels or our website. Right. So John says about $600 per year for the active and $800 for the sat phone. But I mean, if things happen, that's probably a really darn good investment.
Cheap investment. It's a good investment for sure.
Yeah, you got it.
Not that much in the long term.
Exactly. You own the phone, $800 is done, then $600 per year. I mean, you're talking about $50 a month, a little over, probably taxes, all that stuff. I mean, that seems like a really, really wise investment as well. So before we head off line for today, we want to go over a couple things. First off, we're glad to be back doing live streams on the more of a normal schedule. For the month of January, we're going to do 2. We have one tonight, and then we have one coming up in a couple weeks for the next Tuesday, which is the 9th. They have a firearm training here in Greenville. So the next one after that is going to be actually on the 16th. So we'll be live again on Tuesday, January 16th. If there's something you'd like to cover in that live stream, please put it in the comments or message us. But let's talk about camp, right? All right, we got the camp coming up in May 14th through the 18th, held exclusively at the beautiful Birches Resort on Moosehead Lake. Man, they just knock it out of the park for us every single camp. We've been there since late 2018 running camps, and the accommodations, the food, the atmosphere, and being right on the lake. John and Tanya, they're just amazing people and really take care of us every time we go there. So if you haven't booked your spot yet for the May camp, please go to our website, t4survival.com/camp. Make sure to register for your spot. If you have questions on the camp, please message us, and we'll be glad to answer those questions. But it's a life-changing event. If you're a new shooter, inexperienced shooter, or if you've been training for years, this camp will change your life. And you'll see testimonials on our website. Go to our testimonial page on the YouTube channel, and you'll see testimonials of past attendees of camp talking about their experience and what it has done for them. I really encourage you to invest in yourself and spend the time Get away from everything else and immerse yourself in 5 days of self-defense and live fire training with us here in the Northwoods of Maine. I promise you it's going to be a life-changing event. David, you ready for camp?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. Is it next week?
I wish. We got a little bit of snow here that we've got to get through first and go through sledding season, and then we'll get ready to rock and roll with camp. But
looking forward to it. I can't wait to see the people come back. Got some new people coming in, which is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time.
And we've already been working on the curriculum. We got a lot of new stuff up our sleeves.
Yeah.
If you listen to some of the testimonials, they always say that you kind of up the level every time that we do camp, and there's things that they don't expect. Well, wait till May.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good one. Yep.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us live online tonight. We look forward to seeing you on January 16th. Also, head over to our website, t4survival.com. Sign up as a site member. It's completely free. And what we're going to start doing is in the next live stream after the 16th, we're going to have our main live stream here on YouTube and Facebook. And then we're going to take the after party into the back end of our website. So that way we don't have the overlords of social media and listening over and kind of controlling what we're able to say and not say. So what we're going to do is have our basic conversation here, about a half hour or so, and then we're going to go to an after party on the back end of the site. It's completely free to sign up, t4survival.com. You'll find a banner right on the front page. Sign up for that, and that will give you exclusive access to the after party where we'll go over some more exclusive content, get a little bit more in depth, and not have to control so much about what we're talking about like we do here on some of these other channels. So thanks for joining us. David, do you have anything you want to add before we kick out?
No, just go check out t4survival.com. Check out the training that's coming up in May. It's fantastic. You guys will have a blast. Get up your skill.
And if you're here local to Maine, I have firearm training coming up every couple of weeks. The next one coming up is low light and movements class, and teaching you how to work down hallways and walk properly with your firearm and getting threat identification and so forth. The next one coming up after that is going to be on the 23rd of January, and that one we're actually going to use training weapons with projectiles and being able to see how quickly you can get on target and taking a shot, and seeing if you're able to hit your target appropriately. And if not, we are going to fix that. That's what we do. So if you're local to us here in Greenville, Maine on Moose Head Lake, please head to our website, check out those training events, and we hope to see you here. Again, as always, you have questions, message us through our social media channels or head over to our website and start a chat. So on behalf of myself and
David,
thanks for joining us tonight. Be safe, everyone. Happy New Year. And we'll see you back here for our next live stream on January 16th. Have a good one, everyone.
take care, everyone.